Hey guys, welcome back. It is your favorite Gimp with the Limp, and I'm here with a little bit more of Crossing the Line, Aachen now, 1944. I wasn't planning on doing a example play, but I had a little bit of time one evening. I wanted to knock some counters around. I still had this set up for the campaign, so I figured I'd go ahead and record it for you guys. This isn't going to be anything special. We're not going to play through a lot of it, but just to kind of show you how it works as far as the formations and the activations and moving the units, just using the tweezers, pushing counters. That's it. We're doing it basic. I'm going Kevin style this time, just cutting the camera on and seeing what we can have happen. I've got our player aid set up over here. Remember, all this information is kept track of also on the edge of the board, that side of it. And I figured I'd go ahead and put this here because there's no units all the way over here. We're not going to get any units over here anywhere soon, not in the time frame I'm going to be playing, so I'm not going to worry too much about it. Just set this here, that way I can zoom in and show you guys. Got all our formation counters set up there. The Americans start with 3, and the Germans start with 4. No action points available yet. The Americans start with the initiative. They get the first activation of most of the scenarios, I think, except for 1. So it automatically goes to German advantage. This means the next time we roll on it, they get a +2 versus the Americans. And as you can see, we're on the upside of turn 1 because there is no admin phase when we're starting out. So basically, I get to activate the Americans, roll to see how many action points I get, and choose which unit I am going to activate. Alright, so we're panned over, and the current formation activation level is here, okay? It can be anywhere between 1 and 7. Remember, if it's 0, you can't activate. You roll a d10, and it'll tell you how many action points you're going to get to spend. But 2 of my formations, 2 of the American formations are at 7, one's at just 2. The one at 2, way down over here, this is just a handful of units. I have to decide which one I am going to activate. Either the 3rd Armored, and what are the others? Alright, and yeah, I should have known that. Orange one's up here. This big red one, 1st Infantry Division. 3rd Armored Division. And then at the bottom, we've got the 9th Infantry Division. I think they might have a few units that come in as reinforcements later, but they don't have them now. Nope, I was wrong. It's actually the orange guys that are going to get it. I was thinking about it. Who do I activate for the Germans when I go to them? Because there's not a whole lot they can do. The Americans, the 3rd Armored has a fair amount of vehicles. So they're going to have a good amount of movement points. We've got 6 here, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, mostly tank units. Yeah, they're pretty well set. And there we've got some... Oh yes, that's actually kind of nice. We've got some mechanized units in there as well. So the HQ's here, we got some mechanized and a lot of tanks. I'm trying to decide. The tanks are going to be slowed down by these dragon's teeth. They're really going to mess with them there. I got a road I can push down into a little town here. It's just where do I punch? Where do I go? And I don't even know, as the Americans, you don't even know what your objective is going to be. Aachen's up here, but there's no telling that you're going to get Aachen. If you start pushing all your units here, and then you get the Ruhr, which is way down over there, you're kind of screwing yourself. So I'm thinking maybe I activate the purple guys. Which one? 9th Infantry Division. Yeah, we're going to start with them. We'll start slow. Yeah, I don't have a whole lot of Germans over here, so I can make use of that to try to get some movement going with the 9th Infantry. And these guys are all infantry. I have 1 HQ unit. Only cost me 1 point to relocate it. I'm probably going to have to relocate them there. But I got roads here. And I can make use of these roads to get up here into this city, get a little foothold behind here, and maybe come up and perform a flank. Alright, let's look at our terrain effects chart here. I know the roads. It's 1/2, but it's only 1/2. Oh no, it's 1/2 for all. Leg and motorized. And that's good. We got industrial. It's one. Everything. Doesn't matter what it is. Town, forest, pillbox. I missed that previously. Infantry can move. They only get 2 movement points out. Alright, so if I do that, moving along the road, that's 1/2, 2, or 1. And then I can move into the city and finish. I'll probably do that with all my guys. Yeah. We're going to do that. Okay. We got ourselves a plan. So we've got our 9th Infantry Division here. They're getting activated. And we are going to eyeball this chart. They are at a 2. So more than likely they're going to get lower on the action points. I really need this to be high on these guys. Come on, give me a good number. 8. That's good. That's good. That's a good number. That gives us 5 action points. That's not bad. That's not bad. You're going to move this down by 1. You're going to move this up to 5. So that's the action points we can spend. Remember, for all our actions, they're all going to have a different point value. Movements 1, refit, repairing them 1, hasty attack 1, but prepared attack 3, regular attack 2, and then HQ relocation costs as well. I might move their HQ up while I do that. So if I move each one of the infantry that I have, that's going to be 3 points. That leaves me 2 to play with. Now, the way stacking works in this game, you can only have 1 infantry unit per hex. That kind of sucks. You can have up to 2 armored fighting vehicles, but only 1 infantry. So if we go 1, 2, and the stream's not hurting me since I'm following the road. And strangely enough, you don't get it when you're going through towns. So like here, the road's still good. You move through the town, you don't get the road bonus, and then you pick it up back over here if you wanted it. So if we go 1/2, 1, 2, that's their movement point. But that's right, I get 2 extra movement points for infantry units if I don't move adjacent to enemies, which means all of these guys effectively have 4. Okay, now that's a horse of a different color. You guys have to forgive me. It's been a few days since I've read the rules, and my brain did the dump already, so I have to make sure I try to remember all this. So that's 2, 3, 3.5, 4. I could get all the way to there. Now that's a thought. Because I'm trying to decide where I'm going to go with these guys. If I push in, I might be able to head up and threaten them over here, but they've got some tank destroyers. Those tank points could hurt me. But that unit has a small command radius, so they would have to be moving up. Do I want to shoot up? I could move towards these pillboxes and try to make use of them. Problem is, if I cross the stream without using the road, it becomes expensive. So if I were to go here, because I'm already at 2 there, if I go there, that kills the rest of his movement because it's +1 and then 1 for the forest. But that means I could move there on the next one. Do I want to head straight up or do I want to push over? I don't think there's enough guys here to really do it. I got to keep them combined or close to each other so I can get some points. Maybe we travel through the woods. All right. We're gonna go balls out. We're gonna go wild here. +1 to cross that. That's all of his movement. And now I've got 2 others. 1, 1.5, 2, 3, and 4. And it's the same for him. So I can get him up to there. Okay. Yeah, there's no other way I can get them a little bit farther. All right, 1, 1.5, 2, 3, 4. 1, 1.5, 2, 3. And I can't take him anywhere else besides like down here because that stream's going to block me off. Is there? Oh, there's no pillbox there. There's a pillbox here. But I can't cross up to there yet, unfortunately. Okay. And we are also going to do a relocation. All right, remember, HQs do not move, they relocate. You have to pay whatever that blue number is. For us, that's going to be 1. And move them. I will move them probably up to here. All right, that way they can maintain this. They do have a command radius, I think, of 6? No, 5. So 5 doesn't give them a whole lot of distance to control those guys. But as they move up, I can pop to some of these small towns and keep these few infantry units in command. Now that only leaves me a single AP. What do I want to do with that single AP? I'm looking at it. All right. And does this count as town or city X? I think that counts as town. All right, yeah. City's got to have different type stuff, so this is a town. And a town provides a +1 defending AT, but nothing else. Well, that's right, I do have an extra movement point left. I don't see why I couldn't spend it on another movement action. Can I move a unit twice in the same turn, just paying for more activations? A unit or stack may be involved in any number of movement actions as long as action points are available. Okay then, I can move again. Alright. Which one do we do? All these guys are the same. If I bring him up, that's 2 to go into that one, and 4 to get to there. Can move him up. But I kind of want to keep these guys bunched up. Alright. We go 1, 2. Now we got a little line of infantry here. Okay. We're good with this. That is 5 action points. 1 for each one of these guys. 1 for the relocation and 1 to move him again up to there. And now I can start bebopping up through these pillboxes, just depending on what those dirty ass Germans do. Alrighty, we've done a first activation. We've completed something. Yay, props. We have activated the 9th Infantry Division. Now, we keep going like this, back and forth, doing activations until both sides have passed. Right? So if one side passes and the other side doesn't, then keep doing activations. You can stop though. You don't have to use up all of these. And generally speaking, you probably don't want to. You don't want to drag them down to 0 every single time. You want to save a little bit for that next turn. Now, we'll do red for the Americans and we'll do the black for the Germans. The Germans will be getting a +2, and this is going to determine who's going to activate next. And if the Americans win again, then this pops up to a +4. If the Germans win, then this simply flips over to a +2. So the lowest it'll go is +2. You'll never go to a 0 until you hit the next turn. Yeah, Americans got a 1. The Germans definitely won that one. So we'll flip this one over. And now the Americans are getting a +2 for the next one. I was kind of hoping the Americans would get another one, because I was going to activate those guys again, try to move them a little bit more, but that is okay. While we're over here, there's really no reason for me to activate the 526. That's a Volksgrenadier unit, because they're in a good spot. They're lining the damn dragon's teeth. They've got a incredibly defensible position. No real reason for them to do anything besides wait for the Americans to smash into them. The whatever the hell unit this is, the Yees, Y2 up here, that's the 9th Panzer Division. So we got the 9th Panzer. We got the 526. That's technically an infantry, but they're Volksgrenadier. And what do we got? We got the 353rd Infantry. And who are these yellow screwballs? That's a Panzer Division, which makes sense because they have tanks. And I'll tell you what, I think I am going to activate this Panzer division because they are not in a very good spot. I mean, they're not bad, but I kind of want to spread them out a little bit and cover a little bit more of what's going on over there on the front. So while we're here, let's figure out how many activation points they're going to get. They're at 3. So we'll look at this column here. We'll roll on it. Oh, they got 10, which means they're going to get the 7 action points. They get to play. They're going to get to move around. All right, let's go see what they're going to do with that 7, which they're going to need because they're going to do an HQ relocation as well. All right, so you see down here to the south, this is the 9th Infantry that we had just activated. The ones that we just got all those action points for is this Panzer division. All right, these yellow screwballs here. Got a Stug. I think those are engineers that are with the Stug. We've got some Panthers, which that's pretty good. They got 10 tank points. They are beastly. But you can tell there's not many of them because they only got 1 string point. And they've got some Panzer IVs, but again, also 1 strength point. I kind of want to spread these guys out, right? To make use of them. But that's just, so low on the strength points that that's bad odds. The other ones, the white ones you see here, they're attached to the 526th, right? The green guys along the lines, those are some of those independent units. They can change, and if you do change them, there are counters you can use. All right, we got 7 points. Now, if I activate this stack, I can activate and move this stack for 1 point. So it's not 1 point per. Now, I know I want to move up my HQ, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Has to be to a town, city, or industrial area within its command range, which these guys are just in the command range. So we're going to move them up to here or here. Which one is better? That gives them all more down. Gives them all more up. We'll go here. We'll go here with it. All right, so that's 1. And where do we want to go? Do I want to spread these guys out? I'll tell you what, we're not gonna play long, like I said. So I'm not gonna worry about making good choices. We're just gonna make choices. Like I said, we're pushing counters around. I kind of want to see what will happen. Now, I want to do an attack. I want to see how good these tank points work. Now, sadly, you can't add them. This has anti-tank and this has tank points, so it wouldn't be combined together. I would use one or the other. I would use tank points, and the tank points are higher. Now, they've got 5 movement points. How much is it going to cost them to move through that? And I'll tell you what, I'm not even going to look at the terrain effects chart. Well, no, not the terrain effects chart, the combat chart. I'm going to move these guys over and try to conduct an attack. I'm not going to move there. We'll move over here. Probably, I know it's not the best, but we're just doing it. And I'm not going to figure out the ratios until after I've committed to it, because I want to see what happens. Yeah. Is it within range? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, easily within range. Now, if I move there, I'm moving adjacent. These guys could react. But I don't want to waste it. They're down to 1. So if they react, they're going to 0. And I want a chance to potentially activate them again. And remember, if you activate as a reaction, you get the red number, not the black number. Which the highest the red number goes to is 4. And it's hard to get a 4. Even if you're reacting at a 7. So,
Okay.
all right, we're going to spend 1 more point. We're going to activate them. And let's see. What's it going to cost? Because they're vehicles. Pillboxes and clear, that's 2. Town is 1. So 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, just enough to get there. Perfect. They're going to go... The vehicles just can't move as easily as infantry can. That's going to be 2, 3, 4, 5. Because the pillbox in clear is a 2 movement point cost. That's a 1 movement point cost. So they just had enough to get over there. And we'll do a regular attack, which is going to be 2 more action points. So let's tilt this down just a little bit, see who we're attacking. We've got a tank destroyer and some engineers doing an attack. Now, yes, again, I could have reacted. Not going to. I don't want to waste the little bit of action point stuff they've got left. So they are performing their attack. And this now that I think about it, this is a very bad attack. Well, we're going to go with it anyway. Because they are... I wasn't thinking about the fact they're crossing a river. I was thinking about the fact that it's a forest. But it's also a forest with a pillbox. So I think this is the worst possible attack that they could have. But they are going to have a serious modifier. Because these guys have very little in the anti-tank category. Alright, what's their modifier? Pillbox in force? Is that dense? Yeah, that's dense force. Ooh, defending AT is +3. +3, that brings them up to 4. They're not getting the bonus that I thought they were. They're not getting that. Defending cross stream, that's only ×1, so that's not going to change anything. Alright, so we figured that out. Alright, let's eyeball our combat sequence. We have declared a regular attack. We've got to determine combat multiplier. That's the drawing the chits. And final battle strength. Compare and divide combat values accordingly to get our ratio. And then we've got to get our die roll modifiers. And then roll. Okay. So here's where we're going to draw those goofy little chits that I was telling you about. Alright, that's these things. Alright, and they're so goofy looking it really doesn't matter what I draw, so no need to even look away. We'll just grab a couple of them out. We'll give that one to him and this one to him. Alright, so we got 2. Now, I believe it's their effectiveness rating that I'm going to look at. It is their effectiveness rating, which appears to be 6 for all concerns. We'll flip this over to 6. Flip this over for 6. Now, since this is a regular attack, this is going to be using the white column. And since this is disrupted, is the red column. Not disrupted is the middle column. Improved defense is the right column. So they are both using the middle column, the white column, and they are both using the effectiveness of 6. And they both have a 2, which means they're effectively canceling each other out. So for all intents and purposes, I'm going to just ignore it. Because all it would do is both sides would double their combat ratios, their combat modifiers. And then I would just divide it down to get a ratio anyway. So effectively, these are not having an effect on the attack. It would if this one got like a 3 and they got a 1 or a 2, if there was some type of difference. But since they both got a 2, that's not doing what I wanted. I wanted it to be different. But that's fine. It's fine. We'll go with it because we're going to have that incident anyway. Their total combat value is a 6, and their combat value is an 8. I thought those engineers were 6. Oh, well. Alright, so 6, I would double it. So effectively, these guys are 12, and these guys are 16, and then we'd be reducing down because of these combat chits, but it's fine. We are going to pull that back down. So their combat ratio is going to be, what would it be, a 2 to 3. Yep. Because they are 6, these guys are 8. So the ultimate ratio is a 2 to 3 on the attack, and they are attacking dense woods with a pillbox. So we know our terrain and we know our ratio, combat ratio. Now we've got 2 things we've got to account for. We've got to account for the tank points, which they get tank superiority because these guys have a anti-tank rating of 1 with a +3 because of their terrain. So their rating is a 4. Theirs is a 6, and the difference is the modifier. So the modifier is coming out. They're getting a +2 die roll modifier for their attack. And now I've got to determine for their HQs. All right. The HQ for the defenders does not come into play. It's only the attacker's HQ. This attacker is a 2. But since he's conducting a regular attack, he only gets half of this value. That white number down at the bottom. This is to account for air support or artillery fire. That's basically what the HQ combat support modifier is signaling. If you're conducting a hasty attack, you don't get this. Regular attack, you get half of it. Prepared attack, you get all of it. So basically, the more time, the more effort you spend preparing your attack to do it properly, the more support you're going to have, the more artillery, the more air support that you're going to be able to call in. I do believe that gives us a total combat modifier of a +3 for the attackers. They're getting 2 from the tank points, and they are getting 1 from their HQ because it's being divided in 2. So a total of +3. And attacker rolls 1d10, applies die roll modifiers, and the amount of hits suffered per side is determined cross-referencing the modified attack roll against the chart. Let's see, first hit is always a step loss. Effectiveness check. Oh yes, there's an effectiveness check to see if you do a forced or voluntary retreat. And then you can do that depending on what happens. And then additional step losses. Alright, so first let's see how this is going to plan out. Let's grab our handy dandy little ruler here so we can slide it over. They are in pillbox with forest. So clear, pillbox clear, light forest town, dense forest city, pillbox and forest industrial. So is the worst. And now we find the 2 to 3. Oh my damn. 2 to 3 is all the way on the left. I don't even have to use the ruler. It's right there. That sucks for them. They better hope for one hell of a high roll. Otherwise the attackers are going to be taking some serious hits. Now, these numbers, the ones that are in red, are the ones that have to take effectiveness checks. If they fail their effectiveness check, the morale check, they will get disrupted. All right, and that result is a, let's add it up to a 9. Looking at the 9, that is a 2/1. So 2 hits for the attackers, 1 hit for the defenders, and the attackers have to take effectiveness checks. So the first hit has to be step loss, has to be points. It has to be points coming off. We can effectively take care of our defenders here by simply putting that 7 counter underneath them. That signifies that they're no longer an 8, they are a 7 now. Since tank points were used, the Stug has to take the first hit. Drop them down to a 1, and we still have 1 more hit to go, and I don't remember if attackers can be taken retreats or not, but we will be making effectiveness checks with both of them. Alright, so in the rules, it's got this thing here where it's saying the second combat hit, if the defender's result is 2 or higher, is variable. But our defender's result was not 2 or higher, is simply 1. So I don't know if that means that the attackers can't retreat or not. That's what's throwing me. Because up here it does say, note the attacker nor the defender may retreat more than 1 hex. But it's got the, if the defender's result is 2 or higher. So I'm going to read that as it's written. The defender's result was not 2 or higher. So I don't think the attackers can retreat. I'm unsure of that. I really am unsure of that, how that's going to go. Alright, well, let's do effectiveness checks for them. Here's for the Stug. They pass. Here's for the engineers. They fail. Since they fail, they do have to do a forced retreat. And the only way they can do a forced retreat is if all the units in the hex retreat. So we will have all units in the hex retreat. And you know what? I'm going to count that as that second hit because that's the only thing that makes sense to me. You guys let me know if I'm doing that wrong. But the Stug is not being disrupted. It passed its effectiveness check. The engineers here did not. They are disrupted, and it requires a forced retreat. It only counts as covering that step loss if the Stug goes with them. I think this covers it. The Stug is forced to retreat as well. The Stug took the first hit as required because they used tank points. That should cover it. I believe that takes care of it. They have suffered 2 hits. 1 to the Stug and 1 in a forced retreat. And these infantry suffered a hit. Now, yes, I've been talking a lot as I've been going over this and just mulling over my ideas and what I think about this unit, that unit, and the different things. So take what I'm saying in effect with that, like a little grain of salt, okay? But I can see how this would get a little time crunchy because it's taken me a while just to get to this, and I've done 2 activations. And the Panzers here still have more action points to spend. They still have more action points to spend at this point, and they have done the disruption here, the retreat, the whole 9. Honestly, I gotta say, it didn't go horribly bad. The Stugs did take a little bit of a beating there, and I would probably spend more points to move them back because you really don't want to lose your tank units. Those tank points are so good because they can give you such a big modifier, such a big swing. I mean, look at these Panthers here, right? The 10 points. Think about it. Even with this unit in this position, getting the bonuses that it was getting, if it had been that tank, right, in comparison to it, they would have got a +6 to their roll. That's tremendous. That is just a huge swing. So tank points can be awesome, but if you have a tank fighting another tank, those tank points vanish very quickly. But if you can utilize them properly against some infantry, it looks like you can get a little something done. I'm unsure over here if I did the retreat the exact way, since that's in there. If the defender receives more than or 2 hits or greater, and this one only received 1, so I'm unsure if the attackers are allowed to make that retreat. But I'm letting them because that makes sense to me. The way the rules are written, this makes sense on how it plays out. Just understand, like any war game you're playing, right? The more intense the rules, the more chrome there is to the game, the longer it's going to take you to play it, but the deeper and the richer experience you're going to get out of it, right? I think this does a good job, especially with the formation activations, of showing that where on the formation you can activate them time and time again, but you're going to have less ability to do stuff with them because the number's going to go down, and then you're going to statistically get less action points. So you might have 7 action points at the beginning, but by the time you've activated them 2-3 times, you're lucky to get 2 or 3 action points. They just don't have that much go left in their tank. And I like the combat system because there's a lot more going on than just that basic die roll modifier, right? The combat results table, like, oh, they're here, they're attacking you in woods, +1. No, there's a lot more going on, and now, like, playing with a little bit and getting to these tank points. Yeah, I like the tank points. I like the anti-tank points. You can really use that to give yourself a big swing, and even in a fight like this where the odds are stacked against them, combat odds weren't great. It would have been worse if they had lower odds, but the bonus that they were able to get from the HQ and the tank points gave them enough to not take that big of a beating. They ended up only taking 1 hit. They can recover that disruption, so it's not a huge loss, all things considered. I mean, yes, you don't want to lose your tank points, but considering how bad the fight was stacked against them, it came out pretty well. But think about it this way. if you activate the big red one up here and you start moving all these infantry units over, or the third armored, and they start getting stuck in, that battle's just going to bog down, because then not only are you going to have to worry about the tank points and the HQ points, then you're going to have to worry about the combat support points, because the adjacent units can provide modifiers and bonuses as well. Same way as the other attacks work. Hasty, you don't get any. The regular, you get +1, and prepared, you get +2. So if you get in these right positions, then you can start having to add in all these other modifiers. The combat system is going to take you a little while to work through, but I think it's worth taking that time. You're getting a better experience than just that regular combat results table. I think it's more thematic. I think it's more accurate the way they have this. It's just tedious. Starting out, it's not going to bother you, but by about turn 7, you're probably going to be like, oh my god, I don't want to draw another chit, to hell with it. But alright, I'm going to stop this one here. If I got an extra little bit of time, I might play through another activation or two, but I just wanted to move some counters. We moved some infantry units. We did some attacking with some tanks, and saw how that played out. Maybe we'll activate the third armor and have them race forward. It's just, I'm afraid to activate the third armor. There's nothing but dragon's teeth all across this map. There's a hole up here where there's no dragon's teeth, where all this woods is, but it's still attacking through woods, which is not good with tanks, and then there's still pillboxes there. So it's again, some of the worst positioning that you can attack through. Over here is about the worst position you could attack through, because these guys are in about the best defensive position you can find on the map. They're behind Dragon's Teeth, in heavy woods, with pillboxes. Yeah, so all those guys up there are going to be using right here that bottom set that is just the worst odds. Yeah, let's see. Pillboxes, 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 pillboxes. Heavy woods with pillboxes all the way down. And the dragon's teeth add that negative modifier to it as well. Alright, I'm going to stop it here. You guys let me know what you think. If you like this where I just cut on the camera and push some counters around, just seeing what happens. Let me know if you like this whole style. And if you do, I might do some more of these. Alright, that's going to be it for me. Y'all take care. I'll catch you in the next one.